There are seasons in life when we find ourselves weeping over people who walked away, grieving over relationships that ended, or questioning why God allowed certain doors to close. The human heart clings to what feels familiar, and when it is suddenly torn away, it leaves behind an ache that words cannot fully describe. But what if the very thing you are crying about is the very thing God used to protect you? What if that removal was not rejection at all, but a shield from something you could not see? We often confuse absence with loss, but God's ways are higher than our ways. Sometimes His greatest blessings come disguised as goodbyes. A person leaving your life might feel like abandonment, but in heaven's perspective, it may be divine intervention. You see, God sees the full picture. The motives you cannot discern, the hidden traps you cannot detect, and the future you cannot imagine. While we only see the present pain, He sees the eternal purpose. When someone walks away, we are tempted to think it is a reflection of our worth. We ask ourselves, was I not enough? Did I fail? Could I have done something differently? But the truth is not found in self-blame. The truth is that God's plan for your life is too great to be limited by who decides to leave. Their absence does not diminish your value, it simply clears your path. People may reject you, but God never will. His removal is not rejection, it is protection. Think about it. There are people you thought you could not live without, but now that they are gone, you realize you are still standing, stronger, wiser, and more aware of who truly belongs in your life. That is the mercy of God. He will allow certain relationships to fade, not because He wants to hurt you, but because He loves you too much to let you settle for less than His best. The hands you once clung to may have let go, but the hand of God never will. Sometimes God removes people because they are not aligned with your destiny. They might have been a part of your past, but they cannot carry the weight of your future. Imagine if God allowed everyone to stay, those who would discourage you, those who would betray you, those who would pull you off course. The burden would crush you. Instead, God prunes your life like a gardener pruning a tree. The cutting may hurt, but it makes room for new growth. There will be times when you do not understand. You will wonder why the friend you trusted disappeared, why the relationship you invested in fell apart, or why the opportunity you prayed for slipped away. In those moments, trust that God knows what He is doing. He does not take without a purpose, and He does not close a door without opening another. What you see as rejection is often God redirecting your path to something greater. The enemy wants you to drown in sorrow, to believe that you are forgotten, to convince you that you will never recover. But God whispers a different truth. My child, stop crying. Lift your eyes. This is not the end. It is a new beginning. Every ending you experience under His hand carries the seed of a better tomorrow. You may look back one day and thank God for every person who left. You will realize that if they had stayed, you would have missed what God had for you. You will see that their absence created space for people who truly value you, who lift you higher, who walk with you in faith. What once felt like heartbreak will later be revealed as God's perfect timing. So dry your tears. Stop rehearsing the pain of who left and start rejoicing in the one who stays. People may exit, but God remains constant. His love never departs, His plan never fails, His presence never leaves. He knows exactly who belongs in your story, and He knows exactly when to turn the page. God's removal is protection, not rejection. Trust Him when people walk away, because He is preparing a path that no betrayal, no loss, and no disappointment can destroy. Stand firm in the assurance that every goodbye in your life carries a hidden blessing, and every closed chapter is the beginning of a new one. God has not abandoned you. He is guiding you into a destiny greater than you can imagine. Life has a way of surprising us with sudden changes. People come into our lives, and sometimes without warning they leave. It hurts. It leaves a gap. We wonder why things had to turn out the way they did. We cry, we question, and we hold on to memories, hoping they could return. But here is a truth that will set you free. Not everyone is meant for your future. Some people are only meant to walk with you for a season, not for a lifetime. When God removes someone from your life, it is not an accident, and it is never without reason. We see the pain, but God sees the purpose. We see the loss, but God sees the protection. We think it is rejection, but in reality, it is direction. He knows who can handle your destiny and who cannot. He knows who will strengthen your faith and who will weaken it. He knows who belongs in the next chapter of your story and who has already finished their part. Many of us try to cling to what God is trying to move out of our path. We chase after people who were never meant to stay. We mourn over relationships that could not survive the journey. But what we call loss, God calls preparation. What we call an ending, God calls a new beginning. You see, when someone walks away, it does not mean your story is over. It simply means God is preparing you for what lies ahead without the weight of what is behind. Think of a traveler carrying too much baggage. At some point, the load becomes too heavy and the traveler cannot move forward. Some people in your life are like that extra weight. If they stay with you, they will slow you down, distract you, and keep you from reaching the place God has designed for you. That is why He, in His wisdom, sometimes allows them to walk away. And though your heart breaks in the moment, one day you will look back and realize that their departure was the very thing that set you free. There are people who were once good for your past season, but they are not fit for where you are going. Their words, their habits, their mindset, even their lack of faith can become chains around your growth, and God loves you too much to let them keep you trapped. So when they leave, do not chase after them. Do not cry as if all is lost. Trust that your Father in heaven has a better plan, a greater connection, and a divine appointment waiting ahead. Not everyone can handle the weight of your calling. Some people may applaud you in the beginning, but turn against you when the road gets hard. Some may walk with you while things are easy, but abandon you when storms arise. Others may secretly envy you, compete with you, or pull you away from God's purpose. And because you cannot always see their hearts, God will remove them for you. He knows who belongs in your circle, and He knows who cannot stay. You may ask, but why would God let me love them if they were not meant to stay? The answer is simple, because every person who enters your life serves a purpose. Some are there to teach you, some to test you, and some to strengthen you, but not all are meant to remain forever. Once their role is complete, their exit is necessary, and though it feels painful, it is part of the process that shapes you into who God created you to be. God never removes without replacing. He never takes away without preparing something better. The door that closed behind you only means He is about to open a greater door before you. The person who left was never the foundation of your future. God is. The tears you shed are not wasted. They are watering the seeds of your next blessing. So lift your head and stop crying. Let go of what is gone and trust what is coming. The people who left your life did not take your destiny with them. They were not the authors of your story. God is. He holds the pen, and He knows exactly what He is writing. Every page has a purpose, and every chapter leads you closer to His promise. Remember this truth. Not everyone is meant for your future. Some people were only passing through to prepare you, to teach you, or even to push you closer to God. Do not be bitter about their absence. Be thankful for the lessons they left behind, and for the space they created for something greater to enter. Your future is too important, your calling is too great, and your purpose is too valuable to be tied to the wrong people. Trust God with the departures, trust Him with the arrivals, and trust that every step you take is guided by His loving hand. One day you will look back and see that what you thought was a painful loss was actually a divine blessing, because not everyone is meant to walk with you forever, but the one who called you will never leave your side. And he will bring the right people at the right time for the right purpose, because your destiny is too precious to be delayed by the wrong company. Life has a way of surprising us with both joy and sorrow. Sometimes the sorrow feels heavier than we can bear. It often comes when someone we trusted, loved, or depended upon suddenly walks out of our life. The pain is real, the tears feel endless, and our heart aches with questions that never seem to find an answer. We wonder, why did they leave? Why did this happen to me? Did I do something wrong? But here is a truth that is greater than your pain. When God removes someone, He is not punishing you, He is preparing you. Loss creates room for greater blessings. You see, our vision is limited. We see only what is in front of us, but God sees the entire path of our lives. He sees the dangers ahead, the betrayals that would break us, the distractions that would derail us, and the relationships that would keep us from becoming who He has called us to be. When someone exits your life, it may feel like rejection, but in reality, it is divine protection. God knows who is meant to go with you and who is meant to step aside so His plan for you can unfold. Many times we hold on to people long after their role in our lives has ended. We cling to what is familiar because we are afraid of the unknown. We think we cannot live without them, but the truth is, God allows separation not to destroy you, but to free you. Just as a gardener prunes a tree by cutting away certain branches so that it may grow stronger and bear more fruit, God sometimes prunes our lives. He removes relationships, connections, and even opportunities that we thought were essential. But in the end, those very things would have hindered us from flourishing. Think of the Israelites in the wilderness. They wept over Egypt, longing for what was behind them, even though it was bondage. They could not see that God was leading them toward a land flowing with milk and honey. In the same way, we often cry over people or situations God has removed, wishing to go back to what was familiar, not realizing He has something better waiting ahead. What looks like loss is often the doorway to blessing. You may not understand the pain now. It may not make sense in this moment why a friend betrayed you, why a loved one turned their back, or why someone you trusted suddenly left. But one day you will look back and realize that if they had stayed, you would have been stuck in a place beneath your destiny. Sometimes the very thing you thought you needed was the very thing holding you back. God will never take something from your life unless He has something greater to give in return. It's important to remember that your worth is not tied to who walks away. Too often, we let people define our value. We cry because we think their leaving means we were not enough, but the truth is, if they could walk away, they were not aligned with your purpose. If they betrayed you, they did not carry the integrity required for the journey ahead. If they left, it was because God had already closed their chapter in your story. Instead of crying over the closed doors, lift your eyes to the one who opens new ones. God never subtracts without intending to multiply. He never shuts one door without opening another, but He cannot place new blessings in hands that are still clinging to the old. You must release what is gone so you can receive what is coming. This is why trust is so important. Trust is not built on understanding every detail, but on believing that God is good and His plan is perfect, even when it hurts. Trust means you wipe your tears, lift your head, and say, Lord, I may not understand why this person is gone, but I believe you have a greater blessing in store. That kind of faith moves you from despair to hope, from weakness to strength, from sorrow to joy. So stop crying over who left. Stop mourning over what is no longer in your life. You are not abandoned, you are not forgotten, and you are not empty. You are being positioned. The loss you feel today is only making room for something far greater tomorrow. And when the blessing comes, When the new season unfolds, you will see that the removal was not rejection but redirection. Yes, it hurts when people walk away. Yes, it stings when trust is broken, but God wastes nothing. Every tear, every loss, every empty place in your heart is a seed for the greater harvest He has prepared. Do not hold on to what He has already removed. Instead, trust Him to fill the space with something more beautiful than you could have imagined. Loss creates room for greater blessings. Believe it, embrace it, and live it. For the God who sees the end from the beginning knows exactly what He is doing in your life, and His plan is always greater than your pain. When someone walks away from your life, it feels like the ground beneath you has collapsed. You ask yourself, why did they leave? Was I not good enough? Did I fail somehow? The pain of abandonment cuts deep because it touches the part of us that longs to be loved, accepted, and valued. Yet I want you to hear this truth with all your heart. Your value is not tied to who leaves. We live in a world where people come and go. Friends you thought would always be by your side may drift away. Relationships you believed were unbreakable can crumble overnight. Even family members at times may not stand with you the way you expected. And when this happens, the enemy whispers lies, convincing you that their departure means you were not worthy of staying. But listen carefully. Your worth is not measured by the loyalty of people. Your worth is anchored in the one who created you, who formed you, and who calls you his own. If someone could walk away, it means their chapter in your story has ended. Not because you were lacking, but because they were not meant to continue the journey God has set before you. When God allows someone to exit your life, it is not rejection. It is redirection. He sees the road ahead, and He knows what you cannot know. Perhaps their presence would have distracted you from your calling, or perhaps their influence would have drawn you away from your purpose. What feels like loss to you is often protection from Him. Think of it this way: a gardener prunes a tree not to hurt it, but to make it bear more fruit. The cutting may feel painful, but without it, growth would be stunted. In the same way, God sometimes removes people so that your life can flourish in ways you never imagined. Stop crying over the branches He has cut. They were never meant to produce the fruit of your destiny. Your value has never decreased because someone decided to leave. A diamond does not lose its worth because someone throws it away. Gold does not stop being precious because someone refuses to see its beauty. And you, my friend, remain priceless in the eyes of God, regardless of who chooses to stay or who chooses to go. The opinion of people does not define your identity. Their choices do not alter the masterpiece God has made you to be. It is easy to get trapped in the cycle of asking, "What's wrong with me?" But the better question is, what is God making right for me? You see, God knows the hearts of people better than you do. He knows who will stand by you and who will betray you. He knows who will encourage your faith and who will poison your spirit. And in His mercy, He sometimes removes those who cannot handle the weight of your calling. If they could leave, it means they were never tied to your destiny. Instead of weeping over what is gone, start thanking God for what is coming. For every person who leaves, there is someone aligned with your purpose waiting to enter. For every closed door, there is another door opening with opportunities you cannot yet see. God never subtracts without multiplying. He never takes without intending to give you better. He is preparing you for divine connections, people who will not just stand with you in good times, but who will pray with you in hard times, encourage you when you are weak, and believe in the vision God has placed in you. So dry your tears, wipe your eyes, stop replaying the memories of who walked away. Instead, lift your head high because their departure is not your defeat. It is your deliverance. The end of that relationship is not the end of your story. It may feel like you've lost something precious, but God is positioning you to gain something greater. Your value is not tied to who leaves. It is tied to the one who will never leave you nor forsake you. People may walk away, but God remains. People may break promises, but His word stands forever. People may change their hearts, but His love for you is unchanging. So, let the ones who must go, go. Bless them, release them, and move forward. Because if they were truly meant to be part of your destiny, nothing could have driven them away. And if they could leave, it only proves they were not ordained to stay. Trust the God who knows the end from the beginning. Trust the God who writes every chapter of your life with purpose. Trust the God who loves you beyond measure. You are still valuable. You are still chosen. You are still called, and nothing, not betrayal, not abandonment, not loss, can diminish the worth God has placed upon your life. Stand in that truth, and you will find peace beyond the pain, strength beyond the sorrow, and hope beyond the tears. Life has a way of surprising us, sometimes in the most painful ways. People we thought would always be there suddenly walk away. Relationships we thought were unshakable fall apart. Friendships that once felt like family grow cold. In those moments, the tears come easily, and the questions echo in our hearts. Why did they leave? Why did this happen to me? What did I do wrong? But hear this truth. When God removes someone from your life, it is not to punish you. It is not to leave you empty. It is to prepare you for something greater than what you lost. You see, God sees the end from the beginning. He knows where your path is leading. He knows the dangers, the distractions, and the people who cannot walk with you into the destiny He has designed. While you may see only the pain of separation, God sees the protection in His decision. We often cling tightly to people who are only meant to be part of a season. They may have served a purpose in your growth, your journey, or your lessons. But not everyone is assigned to walk with you for a lifetime. When they leave, it may feel like abandonment, but in reality, it is God's way of clearing your path for those who truly belong. Stop crying over who left, because if they were meant for your future, they would not have walked away. Think of it like a gardener pruning a tree. The branches that are cut away might look healthy on the surface, but the gardener knows they are draining life from the tree. By removing them, the tree becomes stronger, healthier, and able to bear more fruit. In the same way, when God prunes your life, removing certain people, it is so that you can grow stronger and bear the fruit of your calling. You may not see it now, but one day you will look back and thank Him for every removal that led you to His greater purpose. Loss often feels like rejection, but in God's eyes it is redirection. It is His way of saying, I have something better for you. The pain you feel in this moment is temporary, but the blessing He is preparing is eternal. God never takes without giving. He never subtracts without multiplying. Every time someone exits your life, it creates room for someone who is meant to stay, someone who will walk with you, encourage you, and lift you closer to your purpose. Do not allow your tears to blind you from the truth. Your value is not defined by who left you. Your worth is not determined by who could not see it. People may walk away, but the one who created you has never left your side. He promised, I will never leave you nor forsake you. That means even in your loneliest moments, even when your heart feels shattered, you are not abandoned. You are loved beyond measure, and God's hand is still guiding your steps. Trust His timing, trust His plan. God knows when to close a door, and He knows when to open another. Sometimes He allows someone to leave because He knows they cannot handle the weight of the blessing coming your way. Other times He removes them because their presence would hinder your growth. And though you may not understand it now, one day you will see that His plan was perfect all along. Let go of the bitterness. Release the need to understand every detail. You do not need to chase after those who walked away, because what God has for you will never leave you. What is meant for your life will remain, and what is not meant will fall away, no matter how tightly you hold on. So instead of crying over who left, lift your eyes to the one who remains. He is writing your story, and every page has a purpose. One day you will realize that what you thought was a loss was actually a blessing. What you thought was the end was only the beginning, and the tears you shed in the midnight hour will be replaced by joy in the morning. God's plan is always greater than your pain, and His timing is always right. Stop crying over the people He removed. Instead, start trusting the author of your story. He knows exactly who belongs in your life, and He knows exactly when to bring them. Hold on to this truth. If they could leave, they were not meant to stay. If they could betray you, they were not rooted in truth. And if they turned away, it is only because God is turning you towards something far better. So stand tall, dry your tears, and move forward with faith. Because the removal of some people is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your victory. Trust God's timing and trust His plan.